Spanning from the Himalayas to the Sundarbans, the river Ganga is both a natural wonder and a cultural artery of Indian society. Deified as a goddess, she is worshipped by many who believe in her purifying powers. Her sacred significance molds a rich spiritual landscape where mass rituals and popular culture blend with the riverine environment. But as ecological decline becomes a growing concern, the divine imagination of the Ganga is also forced to confront real-world issues. Today, we are joined by Russell from the Art Gallery of South Australia and Sandhya from the MAP Bengaluru team. Together, they look at two depictions of Ganga, a 19th century Kalighat depiction of the goddess astride her mount, and a painting by artist Nalini Malani alerting the ecological crisis that ensues the Ganga. Welcome back to another episode of Museums Without Borders.
Spiritual engagements with the goddess Ganga take the form of beliefs that are physically tied to the river. Here, devotees engage in rituals such as the holy bath to wash away one's sins, the scattering of human ashes to liberate a deceased soul from the cycle of rebirth, and the immersion of idols to mark a deity's return to the cosmic realm. As the British presence expanded in India, one of its key consequences was the advent of global commerce and trade. It led to a growing urban landscape and expanding domestic markets, which resulted in the development of tourism. Pilgrimage sites such as the Kalighat Temple in Calcutta, the present-day Kolkata, came to be popular among tourists, and the mythological stories that surrounded these places of worship spread across South Asia and the world.
Welcome to the Art Gallery of South Australia in the city of Adelaide. The watercolor paintings in this book represent a style closely associated with the famous 19th century Kalighat Temple on the banks of the Hooghly River, a tributary of the Ganga in Calcutta, present-day Kolkata. Mass-produced as inexpensive devotional icons, these paintings were for sale to pilgrims visiting the temple shrine, where the main residing deity is the goddess Kali, manifesting in both her wrathful and peaceful forms. Although very few intact examples have survived to the present day, it was common during British colonial times for officers, collectors, and missionaries to assemble collections of Kalighat paintings as bound compilations. The survival of Hindu mythology, the Gallery of the Gods, one such rare volume can be attributed to its binding, which has ensured the remarkable preservation of the paintings. The color and metallic pigments still display the bright tones of their original intensity. Most similar paintings have long since dispersed from their volumes and framed as individual works of art, resulting in the rapid fading of the pigments. Included in this volume is the image of the goddess Ganga. According to accepted convention, she is depicted seated in a yogic posture, with 4 arms and a radiant halo, on a lotus flower which rests on the back of a makara, a mythical aquatic creature that serves as Ganga's mount or vahana. Ganga is shown fair-skinned, wearing a deep red shawl and a golden crown, and bearing the accoutrements befitting a divine being. The painting also includes inscriptions in Bangla and English, clearly identifying the goddess. However, the English version reads as the goddess Ganga, the river Ganges. These seemingly innocuous descriptions, designed to inform those unfamiliar with Hinduism and to indicate a geographical feature, today suggest a very real question. How do we perceive the river today? And how can we protect both aspects, physical and spiritual, for the future?
Over here, we look at a painting in the MAP collection by Nalini Malani, whose depiction of Ganga differs radically from the Kalighat representation. Created in 1991, Tell Your Children Ganga Burns shows the goddess surrounded by a raging inferno. Her body, devoid of any divine motives, is bare and reflects a glowing red as she stares with terror at the encroaching orange flames. Desperately clutching Makara, now succumbed to the fires, it seems like she has nowhere to go. Nalini Malani's unconventional portrayal of Ganga reflects her broader practice as a prominent figure in contemporary Indian art. Her paintings center around social issue and use alternative ways of representing images that expose their underlying themes of patriarchy, exploitation, and excess. Through this painting, she alludes that beneath the divine celebration of Ganga lies a tragic reality of environmental degradation, where a woman fears for her existence. The flames in her painting symbolize a man-made crisis which emerged in the 20th century due to unregulated irrigation, disposal of refuse, and the ritual overexploitation of the Ganga. Given these threats to the river, how do we envision Ganga's importance as a lifeline of Indian society? Equally, how do we recognize the river as a living system, one that, if neglected, can no longer sustain the life it could once nurture?
The river supports 40% of India's population, with water diverted for the irrigation of farms and fields. At the same time, it is home to keystone species, and it is estimated that only 50% of the river's original biodiversity remains. Determining optimal water use lies at the center of the debate between food security and environmental integrity. Overuse, particularly for irrigation, by an ever-growing population, has resulted in damage to the river's ecological or environmental flow, which has limited its ability to maintain equilibrium and self-clean. The concerns over irrigation are also exacerbated by the substantial amounts of untreated waste that enter the Ganga every day, by some accounts, a Sydney harbor's worth of raw sewage, minus its industrial pollutants, every 2 weeks. An estimated 29 major urban centers are situated near its shores and rely on it for their daily subsistence, and approximately 75% of Ganga pollution comes from municipal sewage from these cities, towns, and villages.
Over the past 2 centuries, the imbalance between riverine exploitation and ecological regeneration has led to a massive decline in the river's health. But through the title, Tell Your Children, Ganga Burns, Malani not only alerts us to this historical tragedy that the river endures, but also calls upon future generations to take an active step towards protecting our rivers. Perhaps the Kalighat depiction can inspire us to recognize Ganga's importance as rooted not just in our divine imagination, but our living environment. We realize that Ganga's fate lies in how we incorporate our collective beliefs with our practices as environmentally conscious citizens.
By pairing the Kalighat painting alongside Nalini Malani's work, we uncover and rethink divinity and the environment as synergetic components essential to sustaining society, culture, and life. That's it from us today. Join us next time for another dialogue in a new episode of Museums Without Borders. Check out our channel for more such episodes, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.